like this dream that I have, this thing that I'm building that hasn't quite like come out of its shell, it feels really fragile. And in the wrong hands, someone could just crush it. Welcome back to the Elena Out Loud podcast. I'm so excited that you made it back here. You might notice a little bit of a different background here for those of you watching on YouTube, but this is my dining room. So as I think I've mentioned before, we had a little bit of a remodel done to our house, and I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to get the best sound and also lighting. So for those of you watching on YouTube, behind you is my kitchen, behind me is my dining room, and then my living room is over here. So we'll see how this is going to work out. So I want to just check in with you all. It's been a minute, and as you know, or you may not know, I left my real estate career back in January to start and focus on, not to start because I started my podcast in 2019, but to really focus on this dream that I have of having a community talking about Latina experience, amplifying and uplifting the Latina experience just all around health, beauty, wellness, lifestyle, the Latina diaspora, speaking Spanish, not speaking Spanish, just all of our experiences and all of our stories told from our perspective, in our own voice, in our own words. So that is what I'm doing, and I wanted to give an update on how it's going. So just full disclosure, this is not career advice. In fact, it's probably more of like a cautionary tale, like do not do this. So I left my real estate career right kind of when it was taking off. I had been doing real estate for 6 years, and it was really starting to be something. Like I was doing really well. We had a lot of deals coming in year after year, and I just decided that it was not something I wanted to continue doing. I think that now in retrospect, looking back, it was as things start to build and build and build, you kind of are like, I'm going to leave after the next deal. After the next deal, I'm going to do this. After the next deal. But then you kind of see this machine just starting to take form and not stop. And you knew this was not the ride you wanted to get on. So at what point is it a good time to get off? And I think that for anyone that is thinking about making any kind of reinvention, transition, change in their life, for whether it's career, relationships, like location, moving, whatever it is in your life that you're like thinking about making a change on, sometimes it can be difficult when the thing that you're currently doing you're so good at. So real estate was one of those things for me where I didn't necessarily want to continue staying in real estate. However, I was good at it. Like I was doing a really good job, and everyone kept telling me, wow, you're so good at this. Like this is what you're meant to do. I can see you doing this, and you keep going. And it's hard to say, well, maybe I don't want to do this anymore because I guess I should, because I'm so good at it, and it's providing for my family, and like maybe it's not so bad after all. Maybe this is the thing that I should be doing. But the problem is that when you're genuinely not happy doing it, and I wasn't not happy because of my clients. My clients were all great, all except one. I did have one client that was very, very difficult to work with, and I ended up having to cut ties with that client. But all of my other clients, we became like family. Like we've been invited to so many birthday parties and baptisms and retirement parties and all kinds of things because we created a community of people. And it was really not the clients, because what we love to do, when Jose and I were doing it together, eventually he went back to work. But what I love to do is really help people to realize their dreams. I love seeing people win. I'm the person on Deal or No Deal. We've been recently watching Deal or No Deal with the boys, like old reruns, and I love seeing people win. It's so hard to see them lose. And so real estate was really that for me, helping people get what they needed and feel really excited about what they were doing. The hard part was that it wasn't ultimately the conversations I wanted to be in on a day-to-day basis, talking about finance, talking about the market, talking about real estate. I mean, looking at houses is really fun. That part of it I still like to do, but all of that, and it was very high stakes, right? So this is my entire nest egg. This is everything that we've been working toward. This is all of our savings, not just for me, but for my family. It was passed down from my parents, so it's important. So it was really, really high stakes, and a conversation that as I was learning more and more about it, I was getting really good at it. I was the financial aspect of it, knowing all of the real estate terms and terminologies and laws and all of that. but it wasn't the conversation that I wanted to continue having. I really wanted to talk about something different, and there just wasn't a whole lot of space for that there. In fact, I had I'd come face to face with racism many times, and I just didn't know how to handle it then. I didn't know what to say, and it just felt kind of restrictive. I had to be a certain person at that time in my life. And I guess I could have changed the mold and I could have done something different, but again, it was something that I was like, okay, this is not what I am called to do. I really want to continue on building this platform that I started in 2019. So I ended up leaving, in addition to the fact that I got sick. Actually, I kept getting digestive problems. I got shingles. I couldn't swallow. I broke out in hives. All of these stressors that were manifesting in my body because I just wasn't happy doing what I was doing was a sign to me to move on to something different. If I could do it differently, honestly, I probably would have transitioned out a little bit better. I probably would have made a slower transition instead of cold turkey, I'm done with this. But 2020 is, or what did they say? Hindsight is 2020. So what I really want to just share today is kind of the update, how is it going? So I was so excited. Here I was in this career that I was this isn't working out anymore. And with this new, okay, I'm going to do this instead. And so excited, so revved up, ready to go, sent out a whole email to all of my people, I'm done. I'm done with real estate. You can call Jose. He's the one to call for all real estate things. I'm out. And now that was in January and now it's May. So how's it going? How have these 5 months been? So I want to say that just to be super vulnerable, because this is all happening in real time. This is real, honest, what's going on. And one of the reasons I feel it's so important to share this part of my journey is because so often we see people that are super successful in content creation or doing their own small business or whatever they're doing in life. And we think to ourselves, wow, look at them. They've made it. Wow. But we don't see all the in-between pieces, right? And I'll tell you why. One of the reasons not a lot of people share these in-between pieces is because it feels so fragile in the first place. This dream that I have, this thing that I'm building that hasn't quite come out of its shell, it feels really fragile. And in the wrong hands, someone could just crush it. Luckily, though, I have been doing a lot of work on myself because I understand that not everyone out there is to support my dream. There are some legitimate dream crushers that want to come and squash and want to see me fail. Not everybody likes to see people win. I mean, that's hard to believe, right? Because who wouldn't want to see people win? But not everybody wants to see people win. And so luckily, I have the armor through personal development, through reading, through meditation, through faith, through God, that I'm okay and I can share this story. But it isn't an easy one to share because it's not full of glitz and glam and all these successes that are all of these ways that we measure success are not fully apparent in what I'm doing at this stage. So it can feel really vulnerable, which is why I believe a lot of people don't share this. But I want to be really honest, because for anyone out there that has a dream to do something that in their heart that they want to go out and do, or for someone that's building something right now, I want to say we're in this together. We are doing this together. I know what it's like to be in the trenches. I know what it's like to get no's. I know what it's like to wake up and see what is actually happening. I'm right there with you. So that's why this is an important part of the story for me to tell to you in a very honest and real way. So like I said, January, I'm done. May, here we are. What's happened all in between? I have a lot of exciting things that I've been doing, a lot of writing that I've been doing, my podcast. I recently started a Substack, which if you haven't checked it out, my Substack is just an extension of the Elena Out Loud brand. It's Latinas Out Loud, to create an even bigger platform to share stories, voices, beauty tips, recipes, discussions about politics, how we're being affected, all of the things that have to do with the Latina community. We're sharing it right there. So you can find that at Substack, Latinas Out Loud, or you can look for me specifically, Elena Out Loud. So I have the Substack, I have the YouTube, I have the podcast, I've been writing, and I've also been doing some speaking. So for anyone that's following me on LinkedIn, you can see that I've been speaking at different events and things like that. Okay, but here's the real bottom line truth is that what I'm building is the Elena Out Loud brand has not fully compensated me to the extent that I was getting compensated in my real estate career. That's just the fact. So I have faith that this is going to be the best and most lucrative thing that I've ever built. But that's what I'm going off of. I'm going off of faith. Like, it hasn't quite happened just yet. And it can be extremely disheartening. It can be scary. It can make me feel, some mornings I do wake up confused, like, what the hell are you doing? Like, what even is this? Like, who's going to pay you to do this? Who is going to pay you to do this? What does this actually look like? Sometimes I'm like recording these episodes and I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, you're sitting in your house, there's nobody here, and you're just going on and on and on. You're crazy. Like, what is happening? But here's what I've learned. And I've learned this through memoirs, actually. So I've kind of given up a little bit, unless you have a really good self-help book, send it my way. But mostly a lot of the self-help books that I read they have one message that they keep saying over and over in different ways for 14 chapters. And I'm like, okay, like, give me something real. So what I've been doing to learn about life, to learn about myself, is I've been reading a lot of memoirs. And I love memoirs because it's real life. Here's what happened to me, and here's what I learned from it. Here's what I did. Here's where I was at my lowest point. Here's where I was vulnerable. Here's all the bad choices that I made in my life. And here's how I redeemed myself from that. I learned so much more by other people's stories than just by a list of the 5 top things to do to improve your communication. So that's just a hot tip. If that helps you, hopefully, I don't know. Here's what I've learned from so many people that have created something amazing, have created something bigger than themselves. I've learned that the people that do the best in life when they're doing their own thing, the people that have created something important for the world, are the most quote unquote successful people. Those people were really good at having a clear vision of what they were doing. They were really good at seeing into the future, at seeing the invisible. So I know exactly what I'm building. I can close my eyes and I can tell you exactly this community, this platform that I'm building, and what the reason is, and how it's going to uplift people, and how it's going to bring to light stories that we didn't even know existed. I can see all of that. Not everybody can see that. So I'm putting so much of my energy into that invisible space that hasn't quite come to fruition yet, but I know is there. That's not to say that every day is perfect, because let me tell you, there are really days where it's hard. There are many days where I open my computer and I'm just a puddle of tears. Like, what am I doing? It can feel very lonely and it can feel very isolating. But at the end of the day, I have to do this. Like, I have to do this work. It lives in me and it just has to come out. For me, I think it would be harder for me to continue to have this dream in my heart and never do it. I can absolutely do that. I can absolutely go get a job or go back to real estate and do all of those things. But there's a burning desire for me inside to get this done and get this out in the world. But I just want to make it super clear that not every day is easy. There are many hard days that I have. And as far as my bills, they definitely don't want to hear about my faith and the things that I can see in the invisible. They want to say, where's the money? Like, this is due today. For that, Jose and I have our own private, personal conversations and plans around that I won't divulge, because that is very private and personal to us. However, sometimes there are moments of worry. There are moments where I wake up and I'm like, what if this doesn't pan out? Like, what if it never becomes the thing that you want it to become? Those thoughts definitely cross my mind. And in those moments, that's where I need to continue to go back to the vision that I have for what I'm doing. And I have to ground myself so fiercely in that vision that nothing can uproot me, because the winds come, the rains come, the storms come, people come that want to pluck me out of the ground and rip my dream out of my heart. But I have to remain strong in those things, because the days are going to get hard, and they do. But I also think back to this feeling of wanting to do something different, of wanting to create a life for myself, to mold things, to kind of like step out of the little fast lane that everyone was in and say, I want to go this way though. Like, I know everyone's going this way, but I kind of want to go that way. This has been the story of my life. Like, I remember I've had several great jobs where people are like, wow, what a great job. You're so young. You have such a great job. One of them was I was working in the federal government when I was like right out of high school. I had a federal government job out of high school, and I left that one too. But I'll never forget this one job that I had. It was in 2007, 2008, and I was working in a county job. I've had several government, state, county jobs. It was the kind of job that the time just could not pass fast enough. I used to play that game with myself, if you've ever played it, where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to look at the clock for like 45 minutes. And the next time I look at the clock, I'm going to see how much time has passed. And I'm going to be so excited because it's going to be almost lunchtime. And then I would like not look at the clock. I'd try to get some work done, and I'd look up and only 5 minutes have passed. I'm like, oh my God, it felt like an hour. I can't believe it's only been 5 minutes. It was that kind of job. Well, one of my colleagues in that workplace, she was being recognized for having completed 30 years of service in this job. And so she was like, come and see what they gave me, like the plaque they gave me. So I went over to her cubicle, and I remember, I'll never forget, the first thing that I noticed about her cubicle was that it looked like she lived there. There were plants. I remember this plant. It was like a vine that went like all the way like around the side of her cubicle. I'm like, that thing has been growing a minute. But she had pictures of her kids and her grandkids, and she had a little electric tea kettle maker and like all of the things. I was like, wow, everything short of like a bed is what she had inside this cubicle. And so she opens a drawer, and she pulls out these little cardstock frames of her 10-year, her 20-year, and now her 30-year that came with it like a engraved plaque. And I think they gave her like a little watch as a gift or something. And I remember looking at those cardboard photos and seeing her just get older and older and older. I mean, she was a woman of color, so she looked great for her age, but still, you can see the time passing. But I remember in that moment thinking like, she was so excited though. She was so excited, and I was excited and happy for her. And that's the thing. Like, I don't want to say that what I'm doing is better than what anyone else is doing, because I think one of the most noble things to do is to go to work and wake up for your family every single day and do what you got to do. But I do remember in that moment thinking, that's not what I want for me. Like, that didn't feel like a life that fit for me. And I celebrated with her. I was happy for her. I gave her a hug. And she's probably retired and happy by now. But for me, I just didn't want to do that. I didn't want to see myself in a cardboard frame getting older and older and older, and then in the end of 30 years have a watch and a plaque. Like, that just wasn't, it didn't feel like something that was enough for me. So this has been something that's been in my heart of going off road for many, many years. This is not something new. I'm just not cut out for this. And that's not to say not cut out for like working in that kind of a career that I'm not happy in. Not to say she seemed happy, but I do know I had colleagues that weren't happy in that career that would say to me, oh, just 20 years in and we can retire. I can't just put my head down and head to retirement. Like, I have to actually do something that I feel is excited about. And that might be because I have a very low threshold for doing things that aren't fun, and I have a very high threshold for taking risks. That's just my personality. And again, not to say that what anyone else is doing is wrong. This is just my story, and this is just what works and doesn't work for me. And so I've started different ventures and done different things because I've tried things out. What I'm building now feels like the most honest version of myself, of what I want to do with my life that I've ever done ever before. But it's probably the hardest thing that I've ever done, because in our world, we do measure success in certain ways that have not shown themselves yet in this project that I'm working in, right? Financials, people following you, how many likes you get, how many subscribers you have, like all of those metrics that we use to be like, are you successful yet? Are you not successful yet? Those have not come forth from my imagination just yet, but I know that they're there. But that can be the harsh reality that makes this challenging sometimes, and that makes me feel confused about what I'm doing. But what I do in order to anchor myself in my belief of what I'm doing is not just like the visioning and having the vision for myself, but it's also in connecting with other people. So I do on a regular basis have meetings with other women, other amazing women that are also building things. And we talk all the time about how difficult this thing is and how we deserve it. Because I feel like not only is this something I'm building for my family, but it's a gift to myself and my life. It's honoring the days that I have, my God-given days here on earth that I'm doing for myself. So it's in some ways a little selfish, right? Because I am doing this largely for myself. But that's because I really value my own life, as I think that we all should. I think that we all should take some time to do things that are meaningful to us just for the sake of being meaningful to us. Not because, it's, they say a lot like, we have to nourish ourselves first so that we have the energy to take care of our families. That's true. But what about just nourishing ourselves because we matter? Because we're important, because we are whole ass human beings, like that deserve to be fed, that deserve to be happy, that deserve all of these other things. I am a mother of 3 children, and my children come before almost anything except for God. But I also matter, right? And I think that it's important for them to see me follow my dreams and follow the things that are important for me and follow and take care of myself, because that's how they're going to learn how to take care of themselves and never put something like work or a partner before themselves. I think that if we all cared for ourselves in this way, we would all end up being happier, because we were like, okay, we're taking accountability for our happiness, but also for the places that we go wrong, right? Because at the end of the day, like if this was a huge mistake, like I have no one really to point the finger out but myself. And in that way, I'll have to take accountability for what I've done. And I think that is important for us to actually live in our own bodies and live in our own experiences and live in our days like this is my day too. Like, of course, I have other people to take care of. My kids, my husband, my parents, my siblings, my community. But also, it has to start with me. And this is how it starts with me. You may, and that's not to say that one day, I might get a job. Like, you might see me tomorrow at your local Trader Joe's packing bags. Who knows? But I need to try this. Like, I need to go out here and I need to do this. And I will never give up trying, even if I end up saying, I have to get a job, because at the end of the day, like I said, nobody's paying my bills but me and Jose, right? Like, we are working together on this, and I am a contributor in our household. And so we got to do what we got to do sometimes, right? Like, there is no shame in that. And if that day ever comes where I'm applying to Trader Joe's or whatever, or going back to real estate, I will let you know. Like, I'm not going to hide it. And I'm going to say, because that is part of this whole human experience, right? Like, we make pivots, we change, we make mistakes, we do all these things. But I think it's also so important for us to be honest about it and not to hide. I see so many people hiding in the things they're doing and fronting, like, trying to be something and show something that they're not. And that honestly to me sounds just freaking exhausting. Like, I do not have time for that. I'm trying to still just figure out my own self. Like, I have no time to pretend to be something that I'm not. Like, that for me is just exhausting. But not only is it exhausting, I feel like it's harmful. Not just harmful to the person who's like pretending to be something they're not. It's harmful to our community. Because the more that we pretend to be, if I sat here and told you, oh my God, it's going great, like I'm making 6 figures in 90 days and so can you, like, what is that gonna, first of all, that might make you feel like, oh, maybe I'm doing something wrong. If you're someone that's creating something for the last year and hasn't made anything. Or I'm gonna make you feel like, oh, I can do this too, and you're gonna go jump in the water. It turns out it was all phony phony baloney. Like it was never there. There was never anything that was remotely close to that would be achievable based on what I was doing. That's not to say that I don't believe that people can build things that I haven't done yet. Who knows? Maybe there's someone on this same journey that within 30 days they're making 6 figures. Okay, good for you, but that is not my experience. And I'm okay with that. Like I'm okay with letting it unfold the way it unfolds, being honest about it, talking about it, and telling you all what's going on. So that's what it is. And I wanted to share that with you because one, I think it's important for us to be authentic and honest in the journeys that we're on and not fake it. But two, because I want to tell you that if there's something that lives in your heart that you want to do for yourself, go do it. Go and do it. And maybe, I mean, honestly, I don't suggest leaving your job to go and try like writing love letters to your audience on Substack. Like to make money, I don't, that is not my advice today. My advice is, I mean, if I may like offer advice, and I'm not an expert in anything but my own life, but if I could give you any advice, it would be go do the thing that you need to do to take care of you. Whether it's, I'm gonna not make dinner tonight, actually, like I'm gonna go take a walk and let somebody else make dinner, or I'm gonna order out, or I'm going to, like actually enjoy this donut today. I've really done well with my health, and now I feel like I deserve this donut, or whatever it may be. Or I do want to be a writer, or I do want to start a podcast, or like I do want to ask for a promotion at my job. Whatever it may be, I want to tell you to ask for what you need, to go after what you need because you deserve it, not for any other reason but that life wants to see you happy. God wants to see you happy. I want to see you win. I want to see you happy. There are people out there like myself that are watching and want to see you win and want to see you happy just for the sake of putting a smile on your face, not for any other reason to take care of somebody else or do that. All comes, of course, like especially as women, we are going to take care of other people. That is a given. Like that's just what we do, right? But that's not why you should do this. You should do this because you deserve it, because you deserve to be happy, and because I would like to see you win. So if you're doing something today that you've been thinking about doing, that you're going to go after, and you're going to win, and you're going to feel good, and it's going to make you smile, let me know, because I want to hear all about all of the amazing things that are happening in the world. There's so much craziness and negativity in the world. Let's start by doing something good for ourselves and sharing it with each other. Let's just start there. Okay? So find me on Substack. Thanks again so much for being here. I love you all. Truly, I'm so excited to have you as part of my audience. And I will see you all next time.